All right, so down we go. Chicken, welcome in, dude. Now I can click supersonic flight analysis as well if I want to. And we might get some data for that. But again, we're not going to get all of it because we'd have to, with the current data transmission rate we have, it would take us 30 minutes to get all the data that we just collected. So the instrumentation has the data immediately, but transmitting it back takes time. And we just don't have enough like communications. We just don't have the communications capability to actually fully transmit it. So this is going to fall and going to be destroyed in a glorious explosion. It's a good landing spot, right in the middle of civilization. It's great. Hey, Postal Code, how are you? Right in the middle of these towns. There's not actually a city here, of course. I wish there was, but that would take a lot of processing power. That'd be something. That'd be something to get from Kerbal Space Program 2. Let's get an actual civilization set up. If nothing else, just for looks. You know? Like, get actual buildings set up. I think that'd be nice. All right. Go back to the Space Center. Let's see how we did. Okay, so from that launch, we managed to get ourselves 2.5 science. That's pretty good. We also got our contract completed, so we got paid money. That's good too. The launch pad has to be reconditioned. Every time you launch, it has to be reconditioned. That's only going to take about 4 hours to do, so it's not that bad. But if we had another rocket ready to roll out, we'd have to wait until it's been reconditioned in order to do it. Let's go back to mission control. And we now have Karman line as an objective. We also have the downrange milestone, which is not done because the distance that you see provided by KSP in the F3 screen is not accurate, so please do not base your attempts off of it. Okay. Basically, we need our rocket to be suborbital, over 140 kilometers, for the contract to be completed. So we need to get above 140 kilometers and be 3,000 kilometers downrange. So we got to go really far away to get that. And we can't currently accept it, but if we ever get there, then we could. Right now, we haven't actually met the criteria to accept this because we've never gone 100 kilometers in the air. So we need to get to 100 kilometers before we can even unlock that. The Karman line objective expires in a day, but it'll be offered to us again and again. But this is going to give us an advance of 6,400 and a completion bonus of $32,400, which is pretty nice. It just wants us to pass the Karman line of 100 kilometers. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. We get our little bit of a bonus. And then before continuing to build another vessel, I'm going to go into our build list here, go to upgrades, and I'm going to send $20,000 of funds that I have in my account, and I'm going to reinvest in this VAB to create more. So now our build time is 0.145. We can build rockets faster now. We can invest in that and get faster flights, or build faster rockets now. Build rockets faster. All of the above, actually. No matter how I said it, I think all of them are correct. Okay, so research and development. We have 2.5 science. What are we going to invest our science in? Usually I'm a pretty big fan of investing in things that allow me to invest further. That means investing science into things that allow for more scientific experiments. However, in this case, getting more science can also be simply getting higher, right? Getting higher up will let me also get more science and progress further down for more contracts, make more money, and ultimately reinvest in our space program. So for this, actually, I think it might be better to look at getting to the new engines, maybe getting the A4s. I like the A4. Where's the A4? Do I have the A4? I probably will get into space planes as well. I probably will get into flying planes. That's possible. But most likely any plane activity I do is going to be offline because planes, well, or we have like a trucking, we do on Twitch sometimes here, we do trucking streams where we play American Truck Simulator and we just hang out and we have a good time and we chat and it's music, there's song requests and it's a lot of fun. We might do some of those in Kerbal Space Program, flying planes, to another destination. Because, I mean, that's kind of like a flight simulator thing, sort of. It's a hangout stream. But it will let me fly to other places to generate and get more science from those places. Since we're dealing with the Earth right now, I'm not sure how many like diverse biomes there are on Earth for this. So I'm not sure about planes specifically right now. But it's probably a good idea in getting some early game science because I can stay in the air a very long time, which means I have the time to transmit the full data. Sawinski, thank you for gifting out a sub to Postal Code. I appreciate that very much. Thank you so much. Did you watch the NASA launch earlier? Yes, of course. This stream started with us watching the SpaceX launch. That's what we started the whole thing with. We started streaming around 1 o'clock. All right, so I think I'm going to take post-war rocketry here because I want to get better engines. I think that's the best way to go. And we get the upgrade for the Aerobee. Supports the XASR1 configuration for increased performance. So I think that's what we want to do. So we're going to invest our science in this. Now, this science will unlock in 146 days. That's how long it's going to take to do that. 146 days. And once it's done, we have to spend money to unlock the parts. Now, these here, I think, are free. I want to say the upgrades are free, but the part itself has to cost money. So I'm not sure. But we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now you might be wondering, well, it only takes one science. Why not get another one going? And there's merit to that in the sense that I don't want to have to remember to select another one once one finishes, but you can only research one thing at a time. So it's not super vital. Going along that note though, I think I will probably get another one queued up. And this is another Aerobee upgrade, which is kind of cool, but I want better engines than the Aerobee. The Aerobee's not going to last this long. I need a bigger one. And I'm kind of thinking maybe this booster might be a good thing to have. I'm not entirely sure of my workflow here as far as like which engines to use from what, but I think maybe the material science gives us the tanks, and then this one goes avionics upgrade. Okay, that might be pretty good. We get to avionics prototype and early science. This starts giving us more samples, more things we can use for. Yeah, you can get science when you're landed, flying high, space low, space high. Lots of different electric charge needs and transmit stuff. So there's a lot of science here too. We could work towards that. So why don't we go towards this early tracking system thing here and see if we can get more science later on. All right, so this is debris from our first launch. So we're just going to recover that. We get a slight bit amount of money for that. And that's kind of it. So the current contract we have active is our Karman line contract. Now, we accepted this in 1951 at this time. It does not have an expiration date. But some of these contracts do. Some of these, you have a time limit. This one, we don't. So it's not a big deal if we sit on our hands for just a little bit. Also notice in the active tab that even though we've only accepted the one, we still have all of these that are actually active. And that's just, again, these extra milestones that we want to reach. For example, get our craft to 80 kilometers now. So we got to 70. The next step is getting to 80. If we complete the 81, the 91 is automatically accepted and then completed once we cross it. And then the 101, and then that's automatically accepted and completed when we cross it, etc. So you are getting credit for all of these, even if you don't accept them formally. They're already active. And then there's also crewed mission stuff too. And this would most likely, things like these crewed ones, we could probably do them, but before we have parachutes, not a good idea. So I won't be doing them until we have parachutes unlocked. So the next step is to go 100 kilometers in the air. Let's see if we can make a rocket that will go 100 kilometers in the air. So this is our old build. And we know that this will go about 77. What can we do to make this go even further? Well, we could extend it a little bit. We could say, hey, maybe we go just a little bit longer, really extend that burn time, you know? Now, granted, we're affecting our thrust to weight ratio here, but if we can get this thing to burn a little bit longer, we might be able to get where we want to go. So it's worth a try just to see if this will get us over the 80, over the 90, maybe over the 100. The other thing we can do in this game is we can cluster engines together. Now, it's not very efficient to do that. If you can do it another way, you probably should. But you can cluster engines together. So if I made this tank wider and put maybe 3 Aero B engines under here in like a triangle configuration, that might have a chance. But we have a lot of, like, the engines themselves have weight, and there might also be a lot of gravity losses from that, but we'll see. The other thing we could do is maybe try to use a different engine. So here's the A4. I like the A4 engine. The A4 engine is awesome. So why don't we try to build a new one, this time with the A4. And chances are we're going to want a new avionics unit for this as well. So why don't we just get a different probe? How about we use... we could use procedural one, but I think maybe that's too expensive. What about this guidance unit? Guidance unit might be okay. It's $300. But I'm thinking we want to go really high with this next rocket, if the launch pad we have will support it. So we'll use this guidance unit here. This one's got some transmit power, 20 watts, 2 watts, same transmissions, right? Same types of strength and transmission. Now, I'm wondering if I have an antenna. I do. I have the Communitron 16S. I'm wondering what that speed is, because again, I've never used this mod before. So it has the same transmission capabilities as the other one does. If I switch bands, now we're only analog right now, so we're not going to have digital right now. The Vostok hoop antenna. Some of these parts say depreciated, and we're going to see a lot of antennas that actually don't. How about the Sputnik one, actually? Yeah, you have the same speed, so there's no point in having an antenna when your guidance unit comes with a built-in one anyway. Okay, fine. And giving it more power isn't going to change much here. So we'll just keep it locked down. We get telemetry analysis as well as supersonic flight analysis, all the things we want. So what we're going to want to do is, first off, we're going to want to not forget to turn on the supersonic flight analysis. That was my bad. So here's this, and let's make it a lot longer. Let's just make it a lot longer. And then we'll stick this engine on the bottom. We're going to make it just a little bit wider, it looks like, because this engine doesn't really fit on it very well. We could leave it alone, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just make the diameter just a little bit more. It's going to be fine. It's fine. All right, so this engine is the A4. It says it's very stable. Good. We're going to want to configure this tank to go with this engine. And this engine is rated for 1 minute and 10 seconds of burn time. Judging by those small, judging by this ridiculously small text. 1 minute and 10 seconds of burn time is what we've got right now. Now, the research we're doing allows for an A4 upgrade, so we can get more with different configurations after a while. I believe that will allow us to do... Isn't there like a... Yeah, a different configuration for the engines eventually. We don't have the ability to switch it just yet. But this uses ethanol 75, liquid oxygen, and HTP as its propellants, which is now what we have inside this tank because it's configured for the engine that's attached to it. That makes it really easy. So if you're beginning in this game, kind of like I am, it's really easy to configure a tank that's proper for the engine if you just wait to attach the engine first and then configure the tank. And then it'll do it. So we want to go, let's see, we have a 5.7 thrust to weight ratio right now. That's really, really high. We don't need that much. So I'm going to make the tank a little bit longer. Now we're down to 3 something. Yeah, 3. So this is a really long. I don't think... I'm going to take service module here. And I'm going to make it a little bit wider. There you go. Now, we do have this our little module is a little bit kind of whatever, but I think aerodynamically, this isn't going to be that big of a deal. That little bit's not going to change much. We're going to want the shape of this to be a cone. Also, let's get the textures to be changed here too, because I don't like this stainless steel rocket. We're going to go like this, and then like this. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. So why don't we take, first we're gonna fill it with the fuel we need. Then I'm gonna make it a little bit longer, and then I wanna actually change the shape first. So that's gonna require me to make it longer again. But if I change the shape, let's say to have a pointy end, one more time. Yeah, this will be fine. I'll take the top and bring it down to basically a point. And then make the length go way up in the air like this. The bottom we want to expand like that. All right. Now, this still only gives us 41 seconds. So I'm worried right now that we are approaching the height capabilities here. It looks like 15 out of 25. All right, so our launch pad will support 25 meter high rockets. So with that being said, we can go more. We can just go more until we get too high. I think we'll also take the top part here and do it too. So let's just make this really high up like this. Total height is only 19.2 meters. We could go even higher if we want to, and I think we will. I think we will. This is gonna be kind of absurd. I don't think this is gonna be a very good idea. Might be hard to keep this stable because of the length. It's gonna cost us 1,300 bucks, but if it does fly, it is definitely going to space. I'll tell you that right now. If it flies, it's going to space. This is rated for 1 minute and 10 seconds. All the way up. So there's really gonna be very impossible, I think, for me to get like enough fuel in this to go to the full 1 minute and 10 seconds. Unless I add tanks to the sides, which I think I can do, actually. If I want to, I can add tanks to the sides. We can take these 2 radial decouplers, for example. Put them on the side. Then we can take propellant. Let's see. Yeah, I think we'll just take the regular tank here. And we'll go ahead and get the legacy textures out of the way. This seems good. We'll use the orange tanks. And then we'll extend the length of these bad boys. Right? There we go. There we go. And then we'll simply configure them. And now we need fuel flow. Hang on. We need, ooh. So there's no way to fuel flow unless I have fuel lines. Do I have fuel lines yet? I'm not sure where that is actually located. That's the strut. Which one is that in? Fuel lines. What category is that in? Not utility. I don't think it'd be electrical or thermal. Maybe I don't have them yet. I don't think I have them yet. That's a strut connector. No. I don't believe I have it. I don't believe I have it. Yeah. We don't have fuel lines yet. So we can't do that. All right, sure. Well, in that case, I guess we'll just deal with what we have. Now, let me double check and make sure this experiment works. Biological sample. You work in space low and space high. And you require a lot. You're probably gonna... You're probably not gonna work the way I want, but... We're not going high into space, so there's really only... The only reason to put 2 of these on here is for symmetry. Since we're gonna spin stabilize it anyway, I'm not sure that's a big deal. So why don't we just stick you here. You are 0.015 tons. Then we'll go with... Actually, this biological sample works in space low as well. So we can take you off. Put the biological sample... Oh, that's really small. Okay, we'll put it here then. It lets me radially mount it, so we'll just do it, I guess. It lets me radially mount it. The exact same... that's actually symmetrical as far as mass goes. All right, and then we're gonna take the barometer, put it on this side, that tiny ass thing, and then we'll take the thermometer and put that right here. Seems good, man. All right, yeah, this will totally fly. Totally gonna fly. If I have a solid booster capable of providing Ullage, which I'm not sure I do. It's certainly not going to be Tiny Tim's. Unless it is going to be Tiny Tim's. Unless it's going to be a lot of Tiny Tim's. Wait, should I be using the A4 or the RD100? Ooh. Ooh. They have the same specific impulse, though. Yeah, pretty much. They're pretty much identical. The A4 has a slightly higher thrust to weight ratio. It may not need Ullage. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Does it say it does? Subject to Ullage. Yep. You only get one ignition. Subject to Ullage. So we can simulate it. Yes, we can. I'd like to avoid simulating simple things. I say this simple things because when you run the simulator, it costs you money to do it. But it might be worth it so that, yeah. Yeah, so I think we're not gonna have, I don't believe we're gonna have, we'll see if we need Ullage. If we get to the launch pad and it doesn't work, then we just wasted like a year of development. It's 241 days to build this, so. All right, we need spin stabilization on this again too, so we're gonna grab like, I think these big delta wings. No, that's too big. Winglets. This ought to do. Maybe 4 of them. That should do it for spin stabilization. I'm not sure they're big enough to really impact it fast enough, though. I need it to really go fast. What about the deluxe winglets? Are they better for this? They might be better for this. We are using FAR, so the actual surface areas of things do count. Oh, wait. Wait, oh, it doesn't matter because we're going to rotate them. So I think this will probably be okay. Not really known to use any use. And the deluxe winglet is here. Okay, so the only real difference between these two things is the cost. Let's try to shave some cost here. I'm not sure this will spin it enough. But actually, to be honest, right now, I'm not even sure it will go because of Ullage, but we'll see. So if I was to rotate it like this, that should hopefully get it spinning. If it's gonna spin, that should get it spinning. But yeah, I kind of feel like I need a bunch of Tiny Tims here, you guys. I need something. I think you gotta have the Tiny Tims. We're gonna put 4 Tiny Tims on this thing. If it'll let me. I'm not sure actually the Tiny Tim can be mounted radially. I don't think it can be. Let's see. Negative. Cannot be mounted regular. So I guess what we'll do then is we will take one of these procedural service modules, which totally can be mounted radially. We'll make sure they are empty. We'll make sure that they are narrow. And we will mount the Tiny Tims to these. And now we have this. Okay. Now we have some ullage. And thrust weight is actually higher in the Tiny Tims than it is on the engine, so that should be great. We can try it without it. It says it's subject to ullage, but I mean, we can try it. That's a considerable cost increase. I'm also concerned also about getting up to speed, because if we don't get up to speed, then the spin stabilization doesn't take effect until a long time. It's gonna take a while for this to start spinning. All right, I'm gonna try it. Screw it, we're gonna try it. We're doing it live. We're gonna try it. This is called the second. The capital S this time. There. All right, so we need, if we're not going with not having any ullage, then we're gonna need, we have all of our science stuff. We don't need any additional communications, so really all that's left is the launch stabilizer. I would assume that since this takes time to spool up, we would want to turn the engine on. I feel like it's worth simulating this. You know? I think this is worth simulating. Melania! Thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate it. 22 months. Woo! Appreciate that. Thank you. I think this is worth simulating. So it's $17.29 to actually build this. It's going to be another 1,000. It's going to be another 1,300 to integrate. So that's already like $4,000, and then the rollout cost is $327. If we add simulation to this from the launch pad, it will cost us another $192 to set up the sim, and then we will pay $36.70 per minute. So I guess we'll just do it. All right, here we go. Ready? All right, we can confirm that it's not going to be a problem. Ullage is not going to be a problem. It's going to go up. It's going to start spinning beautifully. And it looks to me like it's well on its way to being very, very high in the air. So I think we'll go ahead and stop the sim now. And by stopping the sim, we also limit how much we're paying for it. So we don't need to worry about the ullage, unless, of course, you know, the engine fails on us on the launch pad. But this is well on its way to doing some really great things for us. Thrust weight is still pretty good at 2.2, but we can get more. I think we can get more, I think if we go like this, we can get a bit more burn out of it. Just a little bit more burn out of it by making it a little bit taller. There. We'll burn it for 1 minute and 10 seconds. That's what it's rated for, so we'll do it. And then make sure it's not too tall. It is now too tall. Okay, we have to bring it back down. So bring it back down. We want the length to come on back down until it is no longer too tall to launch. 25.8. We'll do it here. $25.2. It is now safe to launch. Exactly 25 meters tall. Okay, so we are safe to launch this craft. We have our camera, which is a little bit weird. It doesn't let me close it, which is a bit strange, but okay, we'll try. And then I'm wondering about battery, though, because with all this transmission, we'll be run out of charge. This comes with 540 charge built in it, so I don't think so. I think we're gonna be fine. All right, Kerbal construction time. We're ready here. Let's save this craft and send it. Send it. So this is gonna cost us about $4,000. I might pay for another upgrade here. Another upgrade for the VAB. It's another 20,000 bucks. But I'm confident that my team is going to get rewarded. So I'm going to spend this on another VAB upgrade. And that's also going to speed up our existing build. So the current build is going to get sped up too for that. So now instead of 274 days, it's going to take us 223 days. Which is a pretty good improvement. It's like 50 days off the build. Almost 2 months off the build. That's pretty good. It stopped it. Why did it stop it? Go again. Here I go again. I'm going to go again. Oh, you know what? It might have stopped it because our tech completed. So we had research complete. That's why it stopped it. Yeah. So now we have post-war rocketry. And if we want to, we can actually upgrade our engine. A4 engine now supports the A9 configuration for increased performance. Unlock it in VAB spaceplane hangar through the engine config screen. So here's what we can do. We can purchase this. So we have the A4 upgrade right now, right? We can also do the RD100 upgrade and the Aero B upgrades, all that stuff. We can look at that at any time, but we purchased this upgrade. So what I can do now is I can go back to the VAB and the second, this craft, it's 65% done on the build, 76 days left. I can go in and edit this right now. So let me go back and edit the craft. Now, if I edit this, it's going to add additional cost to the build time. It's going to add additional time, but it's not going to be as extreme as creating an entirely new rocket. So what I can do now is I can come over to the engine. I think this is done with the this right-click screen, and then we go to engine, and then we can purchase the A9. 35,000. Okay, so this is where you purchase it. I was like, it's free in the research screen. This is where you purchase it. All right, but if we were to do that, let's see what it would do for us. So currently right now, we have a thrust to weight ratio of, well, no, not that. We have 311 kilonewtons of thrust in a vacuum and 264 kilonewtons of thrust in an atmosphere. If we were to upgrade this, it would upgrade it to a derivative of the A4 V2 engine for use with the A9 upper stage, as this is an upper stage engine. I wonder if that's the difference between the A4 and the RD100. The first scale economics, I mean, it's an upper stage engine, but if we're gonna get, yeah, so the current ISP for this is 203 in the atmosphere and 239 in the vacuum. This would be unlocking it to 220 in atmosphere and 255 in a vacuum. So it makes it more efficient while also adding additional thrust. So that's a pretty good upgrade. They're basically the same engine. Got it. So you focus on one. You don't focus on both of them at the same time, right? Now I don't have $35,000 because I just spent it on a build point. But later on, I could do this, and this engine becomes more efficient, and we could actually maybe use this in some of our upper stages later. Okay, no problem. So we'll just cancel the edits, and it doesn't slow down our build at all. I just wanted to see what it was going to look like. So our build remains the same, 76 days to complete it. I'm going to time warp one more time. Now, I am going to go just a little bit further because I don't like launching at night. And since we don't have a launch window that necessarily matters, I'm going to warp just a little bit more. We're just going to go really slow until we get to about 10 a.m. It's basically sunrise. I think a nice, good sunrise launch is a nice thing. The sun is just now starting to appear over the water. Looking pretty nice. I think this is a perfect time for launching. So let's go ahead and get that done. We'll go to the launch. All right. So here we are. Not a simulation. Not a simulation. Before we continue, I'm going to take these scientific things and we're going to pin them this time so I don't have to hunt them down while we're spinning in the air. And because I won't be able to hit these things, they're going to be too small. We're just going to go ahead and grab our experiments. There we go. And we'll get the telemetry data as well. There we go. And the final thing is the camera. I know it's a little bit like, it's getting crowded, but it's going to be worth it. So this is all the scientific experiments we have on board this vessel. And I know my camera's a little bit in the way now. That'll happen during live streams. I'm just going to order things a little bit. Flight engineer, again, it's very small. I know you can't see it. I apologize. It's just, I'm not going to play at 720. There's going to be numbers on the screen that I can see that you're going to have to like squint at. That's just going to happen. I don't like it. I wish they would scale with everything else. I have the UI at 140%. But these are still at like ants. I don't know why, but it is. Okay. Hopefully we don't have engine failures. I am going to start transmission on these like right now, I think. So pressure scan, temperature scan, and telemetry data, as well as our supersonic flight. They will begin running when the conditions are met for them. 3, 2, 1, go. Spool the engine up and go. And we should be going up, 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 and away. Hopefully we begin spinning. Hopefully we begin spinning very soon, and I need to go faster than this because it might start tilting a little bit, which won't be the worst thing in the world, but we're not going to get like downrange or anything, so that's not the goal. We are spinning. It's good. So far, so good. We're not supersonic yet. Once we get supersonic, this should start running, and now it is. So now we're transmitting more science. More data is being sent. And here's the science that's being sent right now and the rate at which it's being sent. Shit. So we had an engine failure, unfortunately. In the middle of the flight, it did cut out. We had a little bit of a problem there. We're going to get data for that. It will make it more reliable in the future, but we did have an engine, a bit of a preemptive, premature engine cutoff, unfortunately. We're going to get some data. Hopefully we manage to get enough that that we can actually, facilitate further, but we're only unfortunately going to reach about 22,000 meters here. We didn't even get half of our launch duration this time. But again, this kind of stuff happens early on in our scientific prowesses. This is going to happen. The only problem I have here is the possibility that we end up falling directly on top of our space center, which I do not have the money to fix, which would be GG. So maybe we don't fall on top of our buildings. That would be really great. If you could kindly fall away, that would be good. We are at least getting some science. Do we have enough to start the next experiment? We do. Or not, well, the next research. So we have over one science at least. We can start something else. We're not going to be, R&D is not going to be waiting around. But this is very unfortunate. It does suck. We're not really going to get a whole lot as far as money for this. And it's just what happens sometimes, One thing we could do is just kind of forget this. Maybe have a second rocket starting, a replacement rocket, but you can only build one at a time. So, we could have got 6 days progress towards one. Well, secretly hopes Charlie falls on top of Space Center. Well, it's on the right path to be close. It's danger close. I will say that it appears like it's danger close right now. So it's unfortunate, but we have managed to secure 0.8 science during this flight so far. So we are learning a bit more about the engine. We're getting more reliability for this. And, unfortunately, if we take a look at, I think it's F3, we can see that the A4 failed, engine shutdown. That all it says is a failure. 41 seconds, T plus 41. The second is out of electric charge. Okay, so now we actually lost electric charge. This is important to note too, right? So this failure also informs us that we would not have had enough electric charge to continue transmitting all of that data. We would have ran out of charge. That's pretty important to note too. So when we build our replacement rocket, we're going to want to hopefully have an engine that doesn't fail, but also we'll want to have more batteries so that we have more transmission time. So we learned some things, and that's part of this journey is learning from failures and getting things back in. All right, so we're going to want to, of course, recover the debris, and we're going to want to start this again. We're reconditioning the launch pad, and again, the hope is that this time our engine doesn't fail. We do need this to be a successful launch in order to maintain scientific discovery in our space program. 223 days. Obviously, we can't buy more stuff, but we did figure out that we don't have enough for power. So we want to have some additional power on this vessel. So to do that, I'm just going to lift up the camera really quick. We're going to take this procedural battery, which is actually quite expensive, but what we're going to want to do is we're going to bring its length down and its diameter out. So it's going to be very flat. But this has a lot more electric charge. This really flat battery. And then we're going to pop the camera back on top of it. And now instead of 540 electric charge, the vessel, which is now too tall, I was barely tall enough before. Length is down 1 pip. There we go. Now instead of having 540 electric charge, we now have 2592 electric charge, which is substantially more. And I think it's probably enough to where we can fully transmit what we want to transmit without running out of power. I think it's probably better, though, to be safe than sorry on that. I think. So if I could just make this battery go up just a little bit more. Like that. And then in, I guess. I have to go in. Yeah, there we go. So now it's 3,000 electric charge. I like that. So the battery is expensive. It is. It's very expensive to have batteries. But again, I want all of the science. And if we go to space, I want all of that science. I don't want to run out of power before I can transmit the goods, right? So there's no point in going up there if I run out of power. I got to invest in it. 3,100 is what we're going to spend it on. It'll end up costing 3,100 for the rocket build. And then it also costs us another about, looks like 1,700 plus for the integration and the rollout. And it's 280 days now to build this. So that battery alone adds 50 more days to construction time, which is kind of ridiculous. But it's cheaper than another launch, right? So I have a 1 minute, 11 seconds, 2.03 thrust to weight ratio, which is great. It's perfect, it's spot on. It's gonna take 281 days. So there we go. That's our new rocket. Hopefully we don't get the engine failures of last time. Cross your fingers on it, save this, and we launch. If we get a failure this time, there's a decent chance that this is very similar to SpaceX in a way, because we really only have enough money to do this one more time after this. So, yeah. Engine only has 1 minute and 10, I thought. It's rated for 1 minute and 10 seconds, but it can burn longer. It may burn shorter, it may burn longer, but it's rated for 1 minute and 10. So you can often get more out of the rating, more out of it than the rating, but that's just what we have. We also have some debris over here we can clean up. Gives us an extra $1. Very nice. Thank you for that $1. All right. We'll condition the pad. And as far as our tech goes, our tech is going to complete research before this rocket builds. So we might as well queue another one up. And I think once this is done, I want to go towards early science to get even more science, right? So I'm going to have... Ooh. That costs 3. Yeah, I can't do that one then. Never mind. We might be able to get with these fuel tanks. The procedural ones are more expensive. So if you can find one of these pre-made ones that are the right size that you want, you can save money that way. Solid rocket engines. We probably need some aerojets. And then the early rocketry gives us access to some additional stuff. Another RD100 upgrade. Oh, interesting. So the RD100 can go to the 102. And this one is the A4. It can go to the A9. So there's an upgrade for the A4 here. And there's an upgrade for the RD100. And then the next node, the RD101, has now a 102 configuration. I wonder which one's better. Basic rocketry, we get a 103. So it looks like we should be investing in the RD100 series instead, because it can be upgraded more. That's interesting. We should be looking to run engines, to run those engines, because we get more data for that. All right, next time we launch, I think we'll swap for the other engine. So it looks like sounding rocket contract, altitude low. So we need to have, it says a new vessel. Reach 55 kilometers with a sounding rocket. That sounds good. We can do that. And then X-plane contracts. We can't do any X-plane stuff, but we can have that. Then there's human milestones, breaking the sound barrier with a crewed mission. Not going to do that yet, because we're not ready for it yet. But we can accept an additional contract, which would keep us up. Keep us alive for a little while longer. So we need to break 55 kilometers with a sounding rocket. And that's really easy. We already have a rocket that we know that can do that. So all I need to do now is simply open up the first, and I can just go ahead and build this. And this can take care of that sounding rocket contract, right? But here's another thing. What if we were to increase the length of this to allow for a longer burn? And this one too. No, it's not getting any more fuel. Oh, wait. No, that's good. So along for a longer burn time, right? What if we do that? And then we can go ahead and we could tool the tank. If we tool this tank, it will cost us 3,183 funds. So 3,183 funds if we tool this tank. So there's a tooling element to this game. If you're going to use a rocket that has a very similar diameter, if you're going to be using a rocket very frequently for a variety of different needs, if you tool the tank, subsequent rockets that you make with that tank afterwards will be significantly cheaper because you've already tooled things. So basically this is 30, it's going to cost us 10 times the number. So if I think I'm going to run more than 10 missions with this diameter tank, I could tool the tank. That's the diameter. I believe I can extend the length a certain degree and not have to retool. But for the diameter is what I would be doing the tank with. So this really comes down to how often am I going to use the Aerobee? How many times am I going to use this particular rocket? And I don't know that. But if I had the extra funds right now, I could tool this tank, and it would cost me a lot now, but subsequent rockets that I build will be very much cheaper. For now, I'm just going to leave it, and it's 321 bucks. It's not a big deal. And I think we'll go ahead and launch with this. All I need to do is just bring this up a little bit higher. I think we'll go ahead and launch with this. Same terms apply. I want the engines and all that stuff to fire alongside with the staging, and then we decouple and off we go. So this will be the first 2, I guess. It's a little bit taller and should be able to burn longer and hopefully go higher. So we'll make it a save here. And I'll have a launch on that too. All right, so we have 2 rockets in the queue right now. So what's going to happen is when our first rocket is done being built, the other one will start immediately after that. Very similar to how our research is working, where we finished one tech and we started another one immediately. We only can build one at a time, though. I can shift the order anytime I want, so maybe I want to launch the first. And I should do that. And the reason I should do that is because the contract that I just accepted has an expiration date. Let's take a look at it. The contract I just accepted has a deadline of 180 days. But it's going to take me, right now, 280 days for the second. So the rocket will not complete on time. So to allow me to do this, I'm going to shift the first 2 ahead of the second, and we're going to start working on the smaller rocket first. That way it can be completed, and it gives me time to complete the contract and to not like lose reputation and the money from that. So we should be ready to go. That's our research, actually. So we're not totally ready yet. Our research is done now. We don't have enough research to start something new. Well, I think we do actually, but nothing that I want to do. Maybe the sonic flights, supersonic flights, post-war materials. Like maybe the RCS tanks and stuff could be good. Probably. All right, we'll start research on that. At least we're doing something. We're having some sort of research going. I don't want to waste time. And looks like we're going to get a daytime launch by default here. So that's pretty nice. So it's already done. Ready to go. It's now 1952. We have $8,600. We really need to get this. We really need this to work. This is the first, right? Our little sounding rocket, but it's a little bit taller. It's got a little bit more fuel, a little bit more delta V in it. It can hopefully burn a little bit longer. Hopefully we don't get any engine failures, right? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh boy, I maybe decoupled a little bit too early there. But we're a little bit wobbly. But we've got spin stabilization, so we're kind of okay. We're a little bit wobbly. I decoupled a little bit too fast. So we need this to break 55K. If it goes higher than that, fantastic. But it needs to break 55K. Now, luckily, this rocket takes just under 70 days to make. So we're able to actually try this again within the contract deadline. So if this fails, we can try it again. I should probably be transmitting science. I'm an idiot. Transmit. There we go. We can't actually do any more telemetry data because we've already actually analyzed all of it. We've already analyzed all the pressure we would ever need to... Oh, okay, our engine cut off. Okay, so we did get an engine failure, and we're not going to get to 55, unfortunately. We got ourselves an engine failure before all of our fuel is gone. And we are not going to reach 55. We're going to reach 40,000. So once again, we are going to have to do a replacement. And instead of waiting for this, I'm just going to revert to the Space Center. Well, no, let's not do that because we are transmitting some science. So let's get that going here. Big kabooms are nice too. Yep. We're not going to make the next one without science. We're always going to bring science, especially if we're going to go high into the atmosphere. We haven't analyzed any temperature data or anything like that high in the atmosphere. As a new biome, it will unlock being able to do more. But the good thing is, with this data being transmitted from this rocket and us having completed 100% of the possible data for this, telemetry-wise and stuff, right? It carries over from rocket to rocket. So you can see here, we've already analyzed all telemetry data. There's no reason to transmit anymore. There's no reason to, to work with that. This has 27 minutes and 40 seconds. And if we were to send another one up and start transmitting immediately, it would pick up where this one left off because there's a maximum amount of data that you can actually get from something. It's no different than before. It's the same idea where there's only so much data you can get from a certain biome. The difference here being, though, there's only 1 minute left in transmission for the barometer. The difference here being, though, that you're limited by the fact that your analog signal can't transmit very quickly, right? It's like giant lawn darts. Yeah. Yeah, as long as we don't crash into our VAB, then we're good. If we crash into our VAB, the game's over. We start over again. Because I don't have the money to repair that. It's like $200,000 to repair that building. And we can't build any rockets to do any contracts until we repair it. So it's kind of like, game over. So we will go back to the Space Center. But this would be one of those things, right, where if I had tooled it, right, if I had done the tooling, then this rocket would be way cheaper, right? The second attempt would be cheaper, way cheaper, right? And eventually you end up saving more than you paid. That's the idea. I don't know how much I'm going to use this diameter. That's why I didn't bother paying for it. But if I wanted to spend... Oh, here we go. This is $1,000. Purchase the XASR-1. Is that what I want to do? Wait. The Aero B has what? .733 kilonewtons of thrust. This would give us 7.733 kilonewtons again. It doesn't change anything. Oh, it does. But this is designed for upper atmosphere. But it would give us 200 ISP instead of 195. It would give us 235 in a vacuum instead of 226. And more specifically, though, it would almost double our thrust, which is kinda nifty. And it cost us $1,000. I'm not opposed to this. I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. So what we want here then, so right now it's the Aero B. Current config is the XASR-1. It doubles our thrust and yeah, it makes it more efficient and everything. I wanna make sure the tanks are all good, so let's remove it and reset, just to make sure the tanks are the right configuration for this. And I think we're good to go here. So yeah, we have a much higher thrust to weight ratio now. We went from 2.02 to 2.91, which means we can make this even taller. That's a bit too tall. But we can burn for longer, right? What's the rated burn time for the Aero B now? Still 40 seconds, okay. So we can put like, yeah, let's put like, I don't know, a minute, 60-second burns, I think here. Cool, and the contract will be, or this will take 71 days. 71 days to build. That's within the contract time limit. We won't have enough time to build another one, so this one can't fail. But we do have enough time for this. So, yeah, let's do it. All these things considered, all these things are the same. Double check and make sure it is still susceptible to ullage. And we have a pressurized tank, and we are ready to rock. If we have a failure here, we're gonna get some money taken away from us. So we really don't want that. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Whoa, boy. Wild Indian. Whoa, boy, Wild Indian. There we go. Oh, that spin stabilization's powerful, isn't it? Whoa, boy. Well, at least we're not going to hit the KSC no matter what now, but we are going kind of slanted, which is a bit sucky. We're going to get some supersonic flight analysis going. There's no reason to do telemetry analysis because it's already done and gone. Once again, I have not pinned these, but we are doing some science. There's my barometer, which we can still do. Yep. And then there's a thermometer here. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it. It's too fast. Come on, get that thermometer. Yeah, there it is. And then we'll go ahead and run that. Okay, so we are transmitting all available science. So far, the engine has held up pretty well. And we did. We ran all the way to the end of our science, and we are going 132 kilometers. We're almost going to space. But we are also breaking the Karman line, which means the second rocket that was meant to do that is no longer necessary, because this one is going to do it well. 132 is where we're going. It's going far, and we have scientific experimentation all about this. Let's get our telemetry analysis running once more. All of our experiments are running, but that also means our electric charge is being expended. Hopefully not that bad. Take a look at the data that we're transmitting. Looks like it's doing pretty well. Current science output shows that we have 1.8 science right now. It's very cool. So, yeah, we're in space, guys. Isn't that nice? We're in space. Hey, Rodout, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Glad you like the content, man. Are you recording science stuff? Transmitting? I am, yes. So it's always transmitting. You just have to, like, you know, it just takes time because it's all analog signal right now. When we get to digital, right now we're on a UHF RF band. That's an analog signal. It's got really sort of wider waves, and so you get great distances you can get out of it, but it's very slow speed. It's a very low frequency. It's about 150 megahertz is what I think what we're transmitting at right now. But what we are looking to do, eventually we're going to be upgrading that stuff and getting to more digital stuff. So again, we're at 124, 125, we're really high in the atmosphere. And again, we're still transmitting as much data as we can. And it looks like we got 2.7 science now. We have 51 grand because we got both of our contracts completed. And I think the next contract is going to say, maybe we even get more for breaking 130. Let's keep an eye on the money. We might get more for breaking 130. No, we didn't get more for breaking 130. But see, when we don't have a failure... Wow, I almost said a sentence my dad would tell me. When we don't get a failure, we get success. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, Dad. Like a giant lawn dart to the water. I wonder if it would really break apart. Like, I know it probably would, but would it really though? Because like, look at that point. I think it would totally displace the water and just go straight through it. Just. I don't know if it would actually. I don't know if it'd actually explode. See, I don't think it actually exploded. I think it just went really deep in the water, like way down into the surface, I think is what it did. I don't think it actually explodes. When we come back, we'll hopefully do great things together with Mission Control. We have 8 more contracts offered to us, so as long as we can keep going with those, I think we'll be in good shape. Yeah, definitely gonna be good. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're watching this on YouTube, please engage with it. You can like it. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me comments, all sorts of things. I'm just here for a great time and to learn a few things with everybody else. I'm not here to like... I'm not one of those people that are gonna say, I'm really awesome at science. I'm really great at rocket stuff. I'm not. I think I just know enough to get the challenge done, that's all. And hoping you guys are learning some things with me. And when I learn things, maybe you will. And you could probably, some of you guys are, some of the people, especially in the live chat, can just teach me some things if they want to. So in any case, for YouTube's sake, thanks for watching. We'll see you. Bye-bye.